Shout out
He
to
doesn't
DMX.
like what Drake represents in hip hop.
Yeah.
He doesn't like that this individual basically is not authentic.
Like, I hate that people think that, like, me being, like, into music from these kids that are trying to, like, make it and trying to build a name for themselves is like, oh, that's some culture vulture.
Drake's been keeping a lot of folks entertained thanks to his beef with Kendrick Lamar. However, it seems like the singer might have dealt the final fatal blow. Thanks to his fiery verse, Joe Budden and Ebro have been dragging Drake for being a culture vulture. And it ain't looking pretty for the Canadian rapper right about now. He's had to battle allegations about being a culture vulture throughout his career. Fans feel some type of way about Drake appropriating black culture and getting away with it. But thanks to the likes of Kendrick, Ebro, and Joe Budden, Drake's being shown the door. Welcome to Celebrity Hype, where we will be talking about how Drake's culture vulture ways were exposed by industry giants like Joe Budden and Ebro. But before we give you the deets, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. So this all started with Kendrick dropping some lethal bars in his diss track, Not Like Us, which read, "Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homies still doubled down calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the Mecca, building railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second, let me put y'all on game. The settlers was using townfolk to make 'em richer. Fast forward, 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you. This the real challenge. You called Future when you didn't see the club. Lil Baby helped you get your lingo up. 21 gave you false street cred. Thud made you feel like you was slime in your head. Quavo said you can be from Northside. 2 Chainz say you good, but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you not a collie, you a fucking colonizer. A little bit of context here. Since Drake is Canadian, a lot of folks see his entire rapper persona as a laughable attempt to appropriate the culture of black rappers. And well, a lot of industry giants seem to think that way. Take Ebro for one. As the internet lost its mind over Kendrick's witty bars, Ebro joined the conversation offering his perspective. According to him, before Kendrick's Not Like Us, the beef had been pretty fair. If Drake talked about family, Kendrick talked about family. If Kendrick talked about Drake liking young women, Drake talked about Kendrick mistreating his wife. But Not Like Us changed things with Kendrick straight up calling Drake a colonizer. And that's not an area where Drake can defend himself. According to Ebro, Drake's always been trying to sell himself as this black rapper who's in with the hood, but the truth is that he's not connected with his blackness. He doesn't represent an authentic Toronto sound. In fact, no one in his fan base knows what a Toronto rapper sounds like.
Bro is basically saying, A, I'm from Compton, like I'm from this. I don't even make these type of records. Never even made one of these.
Joe Budden's on the same page as well. In fact, he's been on this page for years now. Back in the day, Budden called Drake a culture vulture for basically trying to authenticate his forced identity by jumping on the tracks of other black artists, otherwise known as the Drake cosign phenomenon.
Drake, you do not. I said the other day on this podcast, I miss the Drake that starts the waves, not hops on other waves.
Now the question is there any truth to these claims? Well, let's look at the facts. Drake comes from a mixed family. His mother is a Jewish Canadian while his dad is black and Catholic. Drake received a Jewish education growing up, but he was able to see a side of the black culture when his father moved away to Tennessee after divorcing his mom. Still, fans don't think that gives him the necessary street cred to go around doing the things that he does, especially not blackface. Back in 2018, rapper Pusha T released his track, The Story of Budden, with cover art that featured Drake doing blackface.
Aubrey, I believe we have a problem.
And as expected, the one dance singer landed in a world of trouble after the picture made rounds on the internet. He offered an explanation on his Instagram, writing, "This picture is from 2007, a time in my life where I was an actor and I was working on a project that was about young black actors struggling to get roles, being stereotyped and typecast." The photos represented how African Americans were once wrongfully portrayed in entertainment. But were the fans convinced? Not at all. The fact that Drake was so desperate to explain himself was Suze on its own.
I think it's an L that you putting out a memo, Drake. I think that's an L that you feel like you need to explain, because anybody with half a brain knows that a black man in blackface is A, not the same as a white person in blackface.
And did we mention how Drake's always popping on the tracks of young black artists? Back in 2022, Drake posted a video of himself dancing to Kodak Black's SKRT on his private plane, and maybe Kodak was pinching himself. But British rapper Wiley sure wasn't. He straight up called Drake a culture vulture, accusing him of only supporting artists when it suited his purpose and for seeming like he had a connection with the community. He also warned young artists who were looking forward to Drake's stamp of approval.
I've got a new message. Artists, stay away from culture vultures, stay away from pagans, and stay away from people who wait until you're blown.
Drake's also been called out for disrespecting black women as well. Back in 2023, the Hotline Bling singer landed in serious trouble when he used a picture of famous actress Halle Berry covered in slime for his single Slime You Out. Now, Halle is a black icon. She's made waves in the industry. And Drake was out there disrespecting her with a hideous picture. What's worse is that he apparently used the picture without her permission. A fan asked Halle if Drake had gotten her blessing before using her picture, and here's what she had to say. "He did have his people call my people, and I said no. I didn't like that image of slime all over in association with his song, and he chose to do it anyway." You see, that is the disrespect. Not cool. I am sorry, Mr. Drake. How is this you respecting black culture or serving the community? Fans think that the Canadian rapper had some balls for selling himself as a black artist when it was clear that he was only nitpicking parts of the culture that suited him. Kendrick's brought up Drake's desperate attempts to become a part of the community in the latest beef several times. In his track, Euphoria, Kendrick dropped the bars, and notice I said we, it's not just me, I'm with the culture feelin'. How many more fairy tale stories about your life till we had enough? How many more black features till you finally feel that you're black enough? Reagan Thomas also entered the conversation about Drake being a culture vulture, writing, "It feels like you have lost them, or at the very least, they look at you differently, and that makes sense. I don't know if you are ever on Gen Z TikTok, but they love finding the evidence and dissecting it." In another tweet, she wrote, "Meanwhile, the other side is not only calling you a culture vulture, but proving the point by your own actions, including during the beef. So now you put out this banger that is bringing culture together, and you are on the outside looking in, because short-sighted. And at the end of the day, all of it's true." Drake has tried to mold his childhood stories to make sure fans believe that he grew up black. But Drake's always denied being a culture vulture. What's more, not being black enough for the community has always been one of his biggest insecurities.
Like, I hate that people think that, like, me being, like, into music from these kids that are trying to, like, make it and trying to build a name for themselves is like, oh, that's some culture vulture. Like,
and Kendrick's only hitting him right where it hurts with his latest bars. And that's all for today. What do you think of the situation? Is Drake really a culture vulture? Is he going to drop a fiery verse to defend himself? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. We will see you next time with more updates from the celebrity world. Until next time.